Hello, everyone, and welcome to Personal Money Management. My name is Mr. Lucas. I'd like to share with you tonight a few things about our course, expectations I have of the kids, and to help you get a better understanding of how you can help them and make sure everyone's doing what they need to be doing. So let me start off with expectations. I had some parents ask about attendance. How do I know if my kids are showing up for Zoom sessions? Well, we are expected to take attendance face to face and on Zoom, and that should be reflected back in Skyward. So, Skyward is going to be the application. You want to go back and check that. As far as faculty goes, what we do is we simply pop back into Zoom afterwards and run a report, and that report would indicate who's signed into that session, how long they been signed in. So again, this is something that's stored within Zoom. We can always go back and refer to that at any point in time. But at the end of the day, that should be updated, so you should be able to see that on a daily basis if you have any questions about attendance. And again, on a period by period basis, we are taking that. So you want to check that out. And again, kids are expected to be here. As far as Schoology goes, this is going to be the portal for everything else that we do. This is going to deliver content. It's going to have our agenda, our calendar, our resources out there. This is going to be everything else on the conversation. So as far as other expectations I have on kids, let's talk a little bit about grades and assignments. I probably will refer to this again, but I think they need to be a self-advocate on things. So they need to be checking their grade book. So I suggest to come in their course, Personal Money Management, and down here on the left-hand side, click on grade book and open that up. It will show all the assignments we have currently that we've completed. It will show what scores they've earned on each. And if they haven't turned something in, they need to address that with me. I'm a firm believer of getting this done. And, I want them to meet deadlines, but I also understand sometimes things come up. They get bombarded with other things. This is an elective. It doesn't matter if they learn it on a Tuesday versus a Wednesday, as long as they learn it, because a lot of times we have to apply this information into other future projects we work on. They certainly will have plenty of opportunity with other faculty members and also in the real world and at a job about understanding deadlines. But again, I do stress deadlines, but again, I am a little lenient. I don't take off for being late. Again, my philosophy is to learn the material and apply it. Obviously, there's no sense of going back and doing something a month ago that we've already had assessment on. So again, it's important that the kids understand that. So I do expect that they are keeping up on things and making sure they are checking their grades, and they should do that in all their classes. And again, maybe they've turned something in and I don't have a grade for it. They simply need to reach out to me. And again, I think that open line of communication is critical, and that's one of these underlying things I think the kids need to get better at: written communication. I tell the kids they can reach out to me via Schoology. There's a messaging system within there, and it's probably the most convenient. I sort of like email. My boss communicates with me via email, and that's the quickest response that I'll get. So if the kids do message me over the weekends and the evenings, I might get back to them. I may not. It'll probably be the next day, but I try to get back to everyone and give them some insight. If they're having trouble with some things, sometimes I just can't see what they're doing through a message. So I'm going to arrange a one-on-one Zoom session. So let's talk a little bit about that. So kids I see our group on Mondays and on Thursdays on a normal week, either face-to-face or in a Zoom session. My days open up on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'll have more time during the day to arrange Zoom sessions. We have blocks during the day and also on Wednesday. So those would be the days that we might need to set up a Zoom meeting where we can go through some things. They can share their screen with me. I can see what they're doing. I can make recommendations. But again, the kids have to be a self-advocate and, reach out to me that, hey, look, I don't understand this. I'm really having trouble with this. I need help. And I tell them, if you're working on a project that you have known about for 2 weeks, you can't really reach out to me the night before and say they don't understand anything. I want them to be a little bit better at, being better on time management as well. And again, I certainly understand that things come up if they're working on a project. Maybe they don't understand one part, but they can't go back and say I don't understand anything like an hour before it's due. And again, I think it's pretty much a common sense. And I try to schedule things for at least a week out, maybe 2 weeks on units. So I do want to talk a little bit about Schoology and how this is set up for you and your kids. So again, the district has sort of asked that we go back and arrange this a certain way. I use my calendar heavily so you can see what's coming up here on Wednesday for tomorrow night and then also on Sunday. So I told my kids in this session, this project that we're working on, I'm going to have probably Wednesdays and Sundays for due dates so they can plan accordingly. I'm not asking them to do things over the weekend, but I try to buffer in a few extra days if they need to do this. And I think that's important. I use an agenda heavily so I can see my weekly assignments. They can see that. They can link out to the assignment folders because, again, everything's going to be back in the course materials. I have a list of must-watch videos. I've been doing flipped classrooms for many years, and where I try to get the kids to try to learn new material on their own. And then when they come into class, they're working on projects and asking me problems or asking me questions as problems arise as they're going through this. So this hybrid schedule is nothing really new for me. But again, I provide them a lot of resources, either the ones that I make that I find online by others. I store all my resources, my videos on YouTube, so the links will be out there. I typically have playlists based upon course, based upon project they're working on, so they can go back and check things out and get a better idea. Again, here's a link to my playlist. So as far as the agendas goes, going back to that, you can see, again, this week, previous week's agendas out there as well. So with that said, again, as kids are going back in the grade book and looking, say, look, I didn't get this done. The due date was September 10th. They can go back in to that weekly agenda and see and find that information. So again, I think that's helpful to utilize that agenda and make sure that as a parent, you can see that and support them in that nature. So all of the assignments will be back in the course materials. I typically organize it by unit, and then within the unit will be by week. So for example, here's the current unit that we're working on, the financial services. So I have a 2-week time frame for this banking simulation. So we're going through a checkbook problem, checkbook register, making sure how to write checks, how to reconcile, how to match things up, and how do you balance everything. So again, everything will be within this folder here. So I have yellow folders. I typically put my projects, so again, sort of color code things so kids can find that pretty easily. So here's the example that we're working through right now. And within the example here are the resources and the how-to videos. So again, I have written directions, but then I also sort of have always a getting started video, like what do you do, where do you go? Again, I refer back to this. These are where I store everything that we need to go back and take a look at and try to work on it individually and come back and ask questions. So again, basically unit by unit, again, within the units, I'm going to be looking at a green folder for week ofs, and then project folders will be yellow. So as far as the course goes, I think this is a course that all students should be taking within CV. I'm only reaching about 200 kids a year with this right now. So, but anyway, that's another story. As far as the content goes, I do have course info, policies, and quick links here in course headquarters you can take a look at. So these are the topics that I cover within the course: basic money management, understanding credit and borrowing money, the cost of credit. I work with the kids. I use a lot of Excel, where Google Sheets is the preference that I've been going to now, since everyone has access to that. So, I want to make sure that they understand if they're buying a car and they're taking a loan on that, how much is it going to cost? Student loans. So how can you make a wise decision based upon what tuition costs? Again, so many kids end up having so much debt by going to a certain school, and they don't understand like that cost of borrowing money. So again, I show them how to do that. I make sure they know how to calculate that using Excel. We look at investing when we talk about, how do we plan for retirement? I talk a little bit about stocks, the correlation and that risk versus reward, and certainly make sure they understand that they can lose money in the stock market. I look at insurance within the course, especially auto and some renter's insurance. I do a lot of simulations. And I think a lot of these simulations have improved and have come a long way. We do a budget challenge. It was originally started by H&R Block. They used to sponsor this. This is something that the district now gets for the kids. This is basically a 2 to 3 month project that they're going to be working on, where they're going to have to plan out their expected income. They're going to have to set aside money in their 401k. They're going to have to look at their bills, their expected bills. They have to plan accordingly. By itself, it's not that hard, but the game is never easy. There's always twists. It always is trying to have them save. Again, that's going to be, we have rankings on this game where the winner saves as much money as possible in their 401k. So again, that's going to be the stress factor involved. It's going to be using a credit card and understanding, how to keep a positive balance on the credit card and keeping that under control. And again, I think it's a great hands-on experience for the kids. And again, I do a lot of things within there that correlate back to the different units that we look at. I also have a big personal finance sim. It will basically take all of the second marking period of the course that we'll be doing in class, outside of class, on the side, and mix that in with the budget challenge. So again, these simulations are very good, and these are the things that we're talking about. I really want the kids to be fiscally responsible and have a good understanding and making decisions. And if they don't remember everything, I one thing I'd like to think that, hey, look, I remember that we talked about this in Mr. Lucas's class, and maybe go back and do some research and find out how to do this. And so, I mean, I think this is something that everyone should be taking, and I think it's a great course for kids to have. Older kids tend to make a little bit more sense with this because a lot of them have jobs. A lot of them now are maybe driving a car, and they have some expenses. They have some responsibility. So again, I think it's a great hands-on experience for the kids. I do appreciate that you stopped by here this evening. If you have any questions, you are welcome to email me or message me within Schoology, whatever you prefer, and I'll get back to you. Thanks again. Take care. Bye.